If you have been feeling somewhat unreal in recent times, you are not going crazy. This is a phase when many timelines are shifting, on a global, as well as an individual scale. The world, and human lives, are changing, and they are doing so faster than ever before. In centuries gone by, an individual's life could predicted from the cradle to the grave. People simply had no expectation of change ever being a major feature of their reality, and whole societies remained comparatively stable and recognizable over several generations. By contrast, humanity now faces a hugely accelerated rate of change, as well as an exponential increase in the number of directions potential change could lead in. From a third-dimensional perspective, time only makes intuitive sense when conceived of in a linear fashion. After all, this is the life experience of a third-dimensional being we're considering. From its point of view, time appears as a single thread, running from past, through present, to future. An individual's personal experience appears as maybe a fiber of a certain length within that thread, its destiny inextricably linked to history as a whole. The reality of time, though, is more complex than can be conceptualized from a vantage point in the third dimension. Time is in fact more like a large tangle of wool, with an infinite number of threads running ever which way, each composed of an infinite number of fibers. Some threads are touching, others are not. Some are tangled, others are not. Some look almost identical, but they are not. What is more, even the integrity and continuity of any one thread is an illusion. The threads themselves are more like DNA molecules, which can be opened up, unraveled, realigned and bound together in a different way, as required by the presence of certain messenger molecules. During major timeline shifts, personal or societal, you may observe that your entire timeline becomes temporarily unstable in both directions, past and future. Since time is a tangle of threads of possibilities, you can think of yourself as one fiber within a thread. When you shift timelines, it is like unraveling the thread and extracting your life's fiber in order to work it into a different thread. This could be a parallel thread within that same ball of wool, or a different thread. Larger scale changes, for example those affecting a whole group of beings, would be like untangling each of their fibers, or the common thread on which they exist, and inserting it elsewhere. You may feel like everything is unreal, uncertain and unstable for a while. And you are right. You're spirit at deciding which version of the past to align with, and which version of the future. This may sound scary, but it is in fact more empowering than you think. Living in the third dimension makes a being feel powerless to effect changes to their destiny. You feel like you have limited control and certainty. None over your past, only a small amount over your present, and somewhat less over your future. However, with respect to the future, you may find comfort in the concept of possibilities, or opportunities, because it hasn't happened yet. This idea gives you some sense of control. You believe that you can work towards that which has not yet been realized. With respect to the past, however, you believe yourself to be completely powerless and out of control. Many even live their lives in a permanent state of regret, nostalgia, victimhood, or with a sense of guilt and culpability in respect to their past, perceiving their present as the inevitable consequence of happenings from the past, over which they have no control, or scenarios in which they made the wrong decisions. Those people will find little comfort even in the malleability of the future, because they have decided that their unfortunate past has set them onto a railroad track towards a predetermined destiny, which they cannot evade. In reality, the past is just as malleable as the future. Choosing your focus, and vividly imagining the past you want for yourself is just as effective a manifestation tool for your current reality, as is its future equivalent. Sometimes individual timelines run counter to historic timelines. Your personal future could be in the historic past of your consensus reality, or your personal past could be in its future. Two people may cross over, facilitating each other's awakening at opposite ends of their personal histories. For more about that topic, watch out for the post Other Lifetimes, at present scheduled to be released in the future. An individual's timeline, if intended to include certain other individuals, cannot restabilize until those other individuals have likewise opted into that particular timeline, have bought into a compatible past, present, and future for themselves. As you are undergoing major timeline shifts in the third dimension, you may find that you experience a visceral sense of uncertainty about your own reality. This can be very unsettling, because you have learned that uncertainty automatically equates to unsafety, and thus you are trying your utmost to control and micromanage your life experience at all times. This approach may not serve your highest good, and may in fact keep you stuck, lost in the details of existence. For more on that, take a look at the earlier post control versus trust. When timelines are shifting, it is a bit like a DNA molecule in the process of being replicated and undergoing a mutation at the same time. While the DNA strands of time are spliced open for upgrades and maintenance, the ball of wool that is reality will look a mess. There will be different colors, types, and lengths of thread everywhere. Some are unraveled, loose fibers dangling, floating this way or that. You are waiting for the timeline to reset, staring at this mess, and feeling unable to get a firm hold on reality. The threads and fibers that were part of your reality are unraveled, out of reach, or don't look and feel the same. You may not even recognize yourself anymore. Your possessions, relationships, and surroundings may feel alien and irrelevant. Then, suddenly, you get a sense of being on firm ground once more. There may be no perceptible change to your physical reality. Everything looks the same. But somehow it all feels different. You are not crazy. You have just completed a timeline shift. You may congratulate yourself. The fact that you are even able to perceive this destabilizing, morphing, and reforming of reality bears testimony to your own ascension of consciousness. Your vibrational level has reached a point where you become able to experience and comprehend fourth and fifth dimensional reality. Your vantage point is sufficiently high enough to get an overview, even if just a glimpse. To begin with, your consciousness is not going to remain in that state of lucid awareness on an ongoing basis. It is merely dipping its toes into those realities. You may have a peak experience, where you open up and begin to understand them. You are already practicing this in your dream states. Or it could be in meditation, or during a shamanic journey. At times you may feel like you are manipulating an object in your dreams. You might not know to what end, but you get a sense of this being somehow significant. You could be in the process of tweaking timelines and healing an event from your past or future. Any state that enables your brain to let go of resistance will offer the opportunity to prepare for the integration of those experiences into your waking life. But then you also have to come out of those states again. It is like exercising a muscle. You may feel highly motivated to go to the gym. But if you spend all the hours God sends at the gym, if you keep piling on more and more weights, this will do you no good. It might even lead to injury. The same goes for exercising your developing abilities to perceive reality in more than 3 dimensions. Those experiences should be allowed to develop naturally, in their own time. Forcing them could cause harm. There is only so much your consciousness can become aware of and integrate during a single experience. In the beginning, you're like a child. Everything is new. Things can hold an incredible sense of wonder. While you are physically and metaphysically equipped with all the necessary sensory apparatus, the experience can be overwhelming at times, and you may need to focus on something else for a while, allowing the new experiences to integrate. Get a rest. Give the new neural connections a chance to form and stabilize before exposing yourself to more. Only pursue the experience while it feels good. In fact, don't actively seek to pursue it at all. Allow it to happen when it does. Your third-dimensional self has no conscious control over a timeline shift experience. If you find yourself in that state of total uncertainty, give yourself a break. Let yourself off the hook. Practice grounding, surround yourself with comforting anchors into the third-dimensional reality. Fall back on that which you know, without clinging to it in a rigid way. A familiar and calm environment. A carefully chosen mental diet. Time in nature. Know that this experience will pass, and reveal its deeper meaning in due course. When you feel time restabilize, you may get an experience of relief, gratitude, and bliss. Honor that sensation and be thankful. Know that you can choose to move onto a timeline which best serves your purpose and expansion at any time. You are not stuck. Feel empowered to make that choice, and choose wisely. What future do you most blissfully long to see yourself part of?
you.